Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hariom, everyone, and welcome to our second wellness workshop of the year. Last month, Nina led us through a most meaningful workshop on nurturing communities of care and supporting LGBTQ+ youth and young adults. And today we have Madhav, who I'm fortunate to call a friend and a fellow seeker, who will be speaking on cultivating a growth mindset. When Madhav told us that he was interested to speak on this topic, we were really thrilled because this topic really resonates with us as students of Vedanta, who are striving to let go of limiting beliefs and finitude and all that we are not, and attach ourselves to limitlessness and infinity. Madhav is a student of mental health, psychology, and Vedanta. And so I'm really looking forward to learning more about my own blind spots, as well as picking up some practical tools, as well as learning from his life experiences on how to let go of a fixed mindset, which makes it really challenging to accept failure, think outside of the box, and embrace self-development, which is all possible with a growth mindset. Before I hand it over to Madhav, I would like to share a little bit more about him. Professionally, he's a social worker. He was introduced to Vedanta by Vivekji and is a graduate of the Chinmaya Youth Empowerment Program. And recently, in 2022, he attended the Vedanta Sadhaka course under the guidance of Swami Advayanandaji and Swami Shardanandaji. Madhav, thank you so much for joining us tonight to share your insights on cultivating a growth mindset. Hariom.
Hariom, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes, okay. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint. Before I begin, I'll just do a small prayer. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Okay. Everyone can see the PowerPoint? Okay. So tonight I'm going to be talking with you all about cultivating a growth mindset. Some of you may already be familiar with this subject. It's a subject that's quite popular in psychology, and it's gaining more and more traction, and more research is going on behind it. It was generally popularized by a researcher and psychologist by the name of Carol Dweck from the University of Stanford. However, I also think that, a lot of what's being said here, Vedanta corroborates and supports, and probably said it before psychology said it. So we're going to get into it. This is going to be an active workshop. So if you have a pen and paper available, or if you want to open up a notepad or a Word document on your iPad or your phone or on your computer, that'll help with being more involved. And lastly, I know everybody here, a lot of people here are good students, and I'm going to be asking a number of questions. There's going to be some assessments. I would like you to answer them honestly, rather than answer them to get them right. I want you to answer them based on where you honestly feel and where you honestly are in the moment. So, okay, we're going to start with an exercise. Okay, so everybody will need a piece of paper or a notepad. So on one line, I would like you to write, if you dreamt big and could exceed your potential, what would be your goal or aspiration? If you dreamt big and could exceed your potential, what would be your goal or aspiration? You just don't make it too big. Don't write too much. Keep it simple. I'll give you another 15 seconds. Everybody's okay? Okay. On a second line, I want you to write, what realistic goal or aspiration are you striving for in this life? So line 1, dreamt big, could exceed your potential. What would be your goal or aspiration? Line 2, what realistic goal or aspiration are you striving for in this life? Do we need more time? Are we good to go? Okay. How many of you wrote something different for your first line and your second line? How many of you wrote the same thing in your first and second line? Okay. I'm going to bring up a quote by Gurudev that I think captures the spirit of the growth mindset perfectly. He says, keep the goal highest, so high that you will never reach. Reaching the ideal is not the goal. Striving to reach, that is the moment when you grow. Try to reach out to the goal. You grow day by day, week by week. So Gurudev captures a few really important things in this that apply directly to the growth mindset. First is that the goal is not to reach the goal. The goal is to grow. Secondly, the way that we grow is by setting a goal that's beyond our reach. And in the process of trying to reach for that goal is where growth happens. So, brings us to the first important point about the growth mindset, which is the growth mindset purpose. The growth mindset purpose is to learn, to expand, and to grow without concern about falling short of the destination. Okay. Now I'm going to launch a poll or a test. We'll call it an assessment or a test. And I would like you all to just answer as honestly as you can. And I think it's already been launched. So you can go ahead and fill that out. I'll give you just 2 to 3 minutes to fill that out.
I think the poll closed. Maybe folks needed a couple minutes, a couple minute extra.
Can we relaunch the poll? I'm not sure what happened.
There you go. I think it's relaunch.
Okay, we'll give just 30 more seconds. Ten seconds. Okay, I think we can close the poll now. Okay. So first, I'm going to try and answer the first two questions in the poll. So the first two questions in the poll were, which of the following statements is true? So no matter how hard we try, we can't change our intelligence. We can learn new things. We can't change our basic level of intelligence. I can make moderate changes to my intelligence. There's no limit to how much I can change my intelligence. And question number two was pretty much the same thing, but about our potential. Okay. Okay, so that brings us to the second. I don't know how these is everybody else seeing these like green line and red line marks?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure how those got on there, but that's okay. We're just going to ignore those. So the first thing we talked about was the growth mindset belief. The second thing the first thing we talked about was the growth mindset purpose. The second thing is the growth mindset belief. The growth mindset belief is that nothing is fixed. Things can change, and our potential is far beyond our understanding. It's this belief that drives our growth. So the research shows that people who believe that their intelligence, their potential, their personality, their skills are not fixed and that they can change, for those people, change happens most easily. And if we don't put a limit on it, where we say there's no end, there's no limit to our potential, that's when we see the most growth. However, when we have a belief that something is fixed or limited, that is when we struggle to change those traits that we're trying to change. Okay, so just to review, growth mindset belief is that things can change and potential for change is unlimited. Purpose to grow, learn, and expand. But what gets in the way? What gets in the way is something called the fixed mindset. The fixed mindset is the opposite of the growth mindset. So the fixed mindset tells us that it's based on the belief that things are fixed, that change is not possible, and talent and intelligence determines results. The purpose, when someone has such beliefs, is to appear or feel intelligent or capable. Okay, so on the other end is with the growth mindset, things are not fixed, things can change, there's no limit to our potential, and the purpose is to grow, learn, and expand. With the fixed mindset, things are fixed, change is not possible, and our purpose is to feel or appear intelligent or capable. Okay, so we're going to do another quick exercise here. I want you to post in the chat. I want you to post in the chat what you see. Oops. I want you to post in the chat what you see, not who you see, but what you see. Okay, what do you see? Not who you see, what do you see? Some answers are funny. A genius, thinking big. A collection of pixels. Okay. Next one. Again, what do you see? For those who are really not in touch, this is LeBron James. He's the greatest scorer in NBA history. What do you see? Okay, 10 seconds. Okay. What do you see? This is Lata Mangeshkar. On one end, we had the old Indian parents not knowing who LeBron is, and now we have the young Indian kids not knowing who this is. Hindu lady. Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. Softness, smile, loving person. Okay. Last one. Okay. What do you see? This is Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, for those who don't know. Swami Vivekananda ji's guru. Some of you may have difficulty with this if you don't know who he is, but do your best. Seeing a lot of enlightenment, faith, enlightened, calm, being, thinking, holiness, peace, love. Simplicity. Perfect. Okay. When we see these pictures of great people, we have a tendency to look at the product. We look at who they were at the end. We look at LeBron James and we think talent, greatness, supremacy, the GOAT, many different things. We'll look at Einstein and we'll think genius, intelligence. We'll look at Lata Mangeshkar and we'll think talent, voice of an angel. And we look at somebody like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and we see enlightenment. We see bhakti. With the growth mindset, one skill that's important to develop is that we have to learn to look deeper. We have to learn to look not at the surface. We have to learn to look not at the product that the individual was, but we have to look at what it took for them to get there. And we need to see the effort, the conviction, and the support that went on behind becoming what they became. So when we look at LeBron James, we also have to remember that there were thousands of people, coaches, trainers, physiotherapists, teachers, etc., who led him to become who he is. When we look at Lata Mangeshkar, the same thing, all that went in and the amount of hours of practice and effort and focus and conviction that went in behind it. Even somebody like Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who is one of maybe the greatest bhaktas, that we can think of in our scriptures. His love for Mother Kali was just like unparalleled. But we also have to remember that bhakti, something like that, devotion doesn't just come naturally, necessarily to everybody. For some, maybe more than others, but even that, the amount of hours of cultivation that even somebody like Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa put in to developing who he is really important. So we have to look deeper to see that talent, people are not just talent, people are not just products that they were at the end, but there was something much deeper that went in behind it. So what do our Shastras say? So now I'm going to try to answer. That last part was answering the third question of the poll. Now we're answering the fourth question of the poll about destiny. So this is from the next two shlokas I'm going to show are from a scripture called the Yoga Vashishta, which was a conversation between Sri Rama and his guru, Guru Vashishta. So he says that as per the effort one puts in, so shall indeed one reap its fruit. Therefore, it is self-effort alone that is termed destiny. Our scripture here is very clearly saying that destiny is a product of self-effort. Destiny is a product of the effort we put in prior to, and it fructifies. So the effort that I put in the past fructifies as my destiny in the present. Secondly, Guru Vashishta says, "Know, O son of Raghu, that everything in this world is obtainable by our efforts being properly employed." So our scriptures are very clearly, our Shastras are very clearly saying that effort is what determines our destiny, and that anything can change based on our effort if it's employed properly. Okay. So next, we're going to look at mindset triggers. There's 4 important mindset triggers that I would like to cover today. They're not going to be all the mindset triggers, but they're 4 ones that I think we can use to learn and kind of take away from today. So this is also going to involve some participation. So the first one is coming up on challenges. So here's a scenario. You set a goal to run a half marathon, but after your first week of training, you can't make it past mile 2. Someone with a fixed mindset doesn't believe much change is possible and doesn't want to be seen as unathletic. I would like you to write down either in the chat or on your piece of paper, what would be a person's response to this challenge that they've faced, that they set a goal to run a half marathon, but after the first week of training, they meet a challenge of they can't even make it past 2 miles. What do you think their response would be to this type of challenge if you had a fixed mindset? Might give up. They might say, my body isn't built for this. I give up. I'm built differently. I should quit. It's not meant to be. I'm not meant for running. This is not for me. I don't know what I was thinking. These are all great. You guys are nailing this. So they might say something like, I'm too old to do this now. Running is really hard on the body anyways, so it's better I stop before I hurt myself. So you guys all got it right. Okay, now somebody with a growth mindset believes that change is possible and sees opportunities in challenges. How would somebody with a growth mindset respond to this challenge? Again, post it on the chat if you can. Perfect. You guys are all nailing it. Okay. I must train more and we'll get better. It's about trying and continuing to train. It's not about the time it takes to run. It's about following through. Get a trainer. Perfect. Okay. So someone with a growth mindset will say a lot of those things. This was not a great start to the week, but it's not supposed to be easy. I will have to find a training regimen that works for me. So somebody with a growth mindset may look at challenges and identify that, yes, this is a challenge. But what they'll do is then I understand that they need to employ a new strategy that will help them overcome that challenge that they're facing. Okay, so we've tackled challenges. The next mindset trigger are obstacles or failures. So here's the situation. You took a shot at applying for your dream job, but received a rejection email. Someone with a fixed mindset, again, doesn't believe that change is possible and believes that failure means that they are a failure. So I would like for you to share how they might respond in this situation. It's not meant to be. I should have never applied. I'm not good enough. I'm not cut out for these jobs. I guess this proved it was not meant for me. Settle with what I have. Cry. Yep. What was I thinking when I applied? Perfect. Okay. All right. They might respond with something like this. I'm not good enough for this job. If I try again, I'll just fail again. So better to stick with what I'll be successful at. So generally, a person who is failing an obstacle or failure will start to doubt themselves. And they believe that if they were to try again in the future, that it's going to be the exact same result. So they'll revert to what is easier, and they know that they'll be successful at. Okay, now the growth mindset. Somebody with a growth mindset believes that change is possible and sees failure as an opportunity to learn. How would somebody with a growth mindset respond to this obstacle or failure? All right, let's try another job. Ask for feedback, email a mentor. I still have room to grow into this opportunity. Improve your resume and try again. I now know better what skills I need. They assess the root causes for why they didn't get it. Try again. Okay. All good. So somebody with a growth mindset may respond with something like this. I'm not good enough for this job yet. I need to build my skills and improve experience. I will reapply when I'm better equipped. So this word here is actually a really special word. The word yet. It can turn a fixed mindset statement, such as I'm not good at music, I'm not good at sports, I'm not good enough for this job. And if I add the word yet, it can turn that statement from a fixed mindset statement into a growth mindset statement. It leaves the opportunity open that I can eventually become better at it and meet the needs of that goal that I have. So also someone with a growth mindset will look at themselves and say that I still need to develop myself. I still need to build skills. I still need to improve. And they don't say that they're not going to apply again, but they say that when I'm better equipped and when I'm better ready for this position, then I'll reapply. Okay. So the third mindset trigger is criticism. So your scenario is at your job evaluation meeting, your boss offered a lot of critical feedback on how you can improve. Okay, so someone with a fixed mindset doesn't believe that change is possible and takes criticism personally. How would somebody with a fixed mindset respond to a critical feedback in the job or at school, in any way? They'll feel discouraged. They'll get defensive. They'll feel negativity. They'll blame the boss. It's the worst boss ever. It's their fault. They don't know how great I am. Request a change of boss. Do they know who I am? Okay. All great. Okay, so somebody with a fixed mindset might respond with something like this. If the workplace offered better supports for their employees, then I would have performed better. I think it's time to look for another job. So everything that people said was correct, but they might even look for an out. They might look to escape. They might look for a place where they don't receive criticism. Okay, so now the growth mindset. So someone, when we employ a growth mindset, we believe that change is possible, and we embrace critical feedback as an opportunity to grow. How would someone with a growth mindset respond to this type of criticism? Haters gonna hate. Oh, no. That was a direct message to me. Nobody. I won't tell you who said that. Set a bi-weekly connect with the manager to check in on progress and set a list of action items. They might ask themselves, was the boss right? They appreciate the feedback. It's a way of continuing to grow. All good. Okay. So they might respond with something like, I have a lot to work on. This is helpful feedback and I will use it to improve. I will use it to improve. Okay. All right. The fourth mindset trigger is seeing other people succeed or seeing others succeed. So let's say this scenario might not apply to all of you, but just pretend like a similar situation does. So as a Carnatic singer in training, you see a number of your classmates surpass you in skill or performance. Fixed mindset believes that talent is fixed and others are better than you because they're more talented. How would somebody with a fixed mindset respond to this type of situation where they're seeing others surpass them? I should just quit and give up. I'll never be able to get on their level. Teacher is only teaching the other students. Such favoritism. Feel insecure about their ability. If I can't be the best, not worth trying. Stay stagnant. These are all really great. Yeah. This may not be right for me. This is the wrong place for me. Lata or bust. Okay. All right, all really good. So they might respond with something like, why did God gift them with talent and not me? Okay, so someone with a growth mindset believes that talent can be changed. They see the success of others as an opportunity to learn and improve. How might someone with a growth mindset respond to this challenge? Let's see. Practice more. See other people as an opportunity to learn from. They can say to themselves, I can do well like them. I should go ask my guru to help coach me and look for ways to improve. Be inspired by their dedication. Focus on my training. Okay. Appreciate that other people needed to work hard to get there. Okay. All good. Compare less, be inspired more. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So someone with a growth mindset might say, wow, they are getting really good. If they can improve, then that means I can too. Let me ask them for some tips. Okay, you guys are all nailing this right now, so I appreciate that. Well, one of the most important strategies we can learn is recognizing our fixed mindset triggers. So I want you to choose one of the four that we discussed. So facing challenges, facing obstacles or failures, facing criticism, or seeing the success of others. And I want you to discuss in your group how, if you struggle with one of these, how you are planning on changing your fixed mindset into a growth mindset. Just something really simple. We'd like to open it up now for Q&A. So if anybody has any questions or any thoughts, any sharings, any reflections that they feel can be of benefit to anybody else, please raise your hand and one of the moderators will unmute you.
Thank you very much, Madhav. This was a wonderful presentation at a right time when I needed it. One question that I always struggle with is the idea of finding what is my swadharma dharma, and then finding out how much to struggle and what's that level of balance where it's like, if I work too hard, is this something that's saying like the door is closed and I should be working on something else? Like it's more letting me know what's right with myself, or is it something where it's like, I just need to keep pushing and trying more? So if you can give me some clarity on that, I'd appreciate that.
Very thoughtful question. Your swadharma is to grow. Your swadharma is to reach your highest self. And so what form your Swadharma looks like, whether it be, engaging in your work, whether it be engaging in serving the community, that form takes on different forms. But we must, in order for us to really engage in our Swadharma, we must know our weaknesses. We must know what is getting in the way of us reaching our higher self and us growing. And therefore we engage in doing things that will help us face our weaknesses and grow out of them. Engaging in that mind purification and self-purification. So if you're taking on a challenge that is difficult, but you don't see how it will lead you to growth, internal growth, then you leave that. But if you're taking on a challenge that you find difficult, and you know that if you take on this challenge and you grow from it, it will lead you closer to yourself, then you take on that challenge. That is your Swadharma. So just remember that our ultimate Swadharma is to grow and to become closer to our higher self. And, choosing the right activities and the right means in the world, that's gonna be based on what you know of yourself, what you know your weaknesses, and where you know you need to be stronger. And sometimes that's where a guru can really help, because they know us in and through, but you also know yourself well. So hope that helps. Yes, so anytime we engage in any type of activity, it's always with a goal, right? So there's always a result we have in mind, and there's nothing wrong with that. But once we start engaging in the process of pursuing something, we need to remember that our only purpose from there on is to grow closer and closer, higher and higher, stronger and stronger. So if you're over and over again struggling with the same problem, and you're not succeeding, you ask yourself, am I growing? Right? Whether you're succeeding at meeting the result or not matters very little. In fact, that's exactly what Gurudev's quote says, is that we set our goals so high that we don't reach it. But are we growing? That's the most important thing. And if you find that you're not growing, then maybe your goal needs to be reassessed, or you need to try new strategies, because it's not just about effort, it's about right effort. It's about intelligent effort. It's not just about working harder, it's about working harder and working smarter. So are you employing new strategies? Are you learning new strategies and applying it to achieve what you're aiming to achieve? And if you've sincerely said that I've tried each strategy and I've, done it to my very best and to the very end, then, that's all that you can say. But it's about growing. It's about not just putting in effort, but it's about putting in the right effort and putting in intelligent effort. So. Very thoughtful question again. The belief that change is not possible can come from a number of different places. For instance, if you read the Mindset book written by Carol Dweck, she talks about how society imposes certain beliefs upon us, such as, I'm not sure if this is such a strong belief anymore, but historically, there was a social belief that women are not good at math or science. And they found in the classroom that women who believed that struggled with math or science. They gave up more quickly. As time changed and we realized that that's not actually true scientifically, and we started to teach that, this is not true, that women are just as capable, then all of a sudden we find that results start to change. So one is social discourse. Another can come from, culture that we come from, that we have certain set roles in our culture. We have certain set ways of doing things in our culture. And, some of them are beneficial, some of them are not, right? So some of them, and some of them come from our family. It's difficult to say that, I mean, I would say that most of these beliefs come from being taught them through observation of the world. And it's possible that these beliefs also come from just our own wrong interpretation of the world. If we have a tendency to look at the world through maybe a little bit more of a pessimistic lens, then we might tend to gravitate towards some of these beliefs that do hinder us. So I would say most of them come from outside, but it's also on us for believing the messages that come from outside.
Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaः, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om, everyone. Have a lovely evening.